Hello everybody, welcome to my ranking of all three How to Train Your Dragon films. So obviously I'm still filming in the same spot where I just finished my Marvel Spider-Man video. So I finished off ranking Spider-Man stuff. I'll be doing more Spider-Man rankings and reviews later on, but today I'm gonna be ranking How to Train Your Dragon. So I'll be ranking the three feature films that came out between 2010, 14, and 19. And unlike the last video, 16 I gotta say. One, remember, this is my personal opinion. You do not have to agree with me. You don't have to make this your ranking or anything. Number two, nearly the same as number one, this doesn't have to be your ranking. You don't have to rank the films the way I rank these movies. So don't have to be your way. Doesn't have to be the way you want it to be. It can be any way you want. You can rank all three films any way you want. Number three, this is only the films. I'm not going to be ranking any of the TV shows, no short films, no extras, none of the films. And I won't be ranking any, I won't be basing the rankings off, I will be only basing them on my personal opinion and how I liked them when I first saw them, so yeah. And obviously spoilers, so if you have not seen How to Train Your Dragon 1, 2, or 3, make sure you go back and watch them. But if you don't care for spoilers and you just want to watch it, have at it. And number 6 as well, enjoy the video and like and subscribe. Just try and enjoy the video as much as you can. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and if you want to rank the films, tell me what your favorite How to Train Your Dragon film is and why in the comments below. Or the TV show, tell me your favorite How to Train Your Dragon movie, TV show, short film, and character, and maybe dragon in the comments below and why. And if you want, and tell me how you rank How to Train Your Dragon in the comment section down below. But without further ado, let's get started with number 3 is How to Train Your Dragon 2. Now, this sequel to the highly good anticipated film of 2010's How to Train Your Dragon that won an award, Golden Globe or Emmy Award or whatever the hell award it won. This sequel was a bit more high tempted. It went high flying. It went more. It took everything from the first film and expanded it even more into a more bigger world. And we saw different unique things. We saw Stoic have a dragon. We saw Gobber have a dragon. We saw random other people have dragons. The entire people's civilization of Berk had a bunch of dragons. And Berk had looked very different. Looked very ready to how to handle dragons and all that. It was a very nice place to see dragons. People were living in peace with dragons. There was dragon racing. His friends were hopping high. They were 20 years old. They were 20 and 19 years old. They aren't 15 anymore. And notable things that changed is that obviously they turned 20. They have dragons. Everyone has dragons. And Snotlout and Fishlegs were fighting over Rough Nuts. And Hiccup and Esther were dating, so for me that was personally one of my favorites. And it seems like Berk had been able to stabilize a peace with the dragons after the events of Defenders and Riders of Berk. And but overall the film was pretty good. It introduced Valka, Hiccup's mother, who we had never seen before. For me, it was only mentioned through the TV show and the film. There was only slight mentions of her in the TV shows. There's only slight mentions. Her name was mentioned in some other TV shows. And in this film, we finally got to meet who that disappearing mother that's been lurking in the shadows. We finally found out it's Valka, Hiccup's mother, who was kidnapped when he was merely an infant baby and left to be raised by his father. Later on after that, to soon be disagreed upon by his father, since he did not match the Viking standards. But now Hiccup, the 20-year-old Hiccup that we know, that's different to the skinny, scrawny Hiccup we had back then, is now found his mother. And a cool thing is that they continued the bond between Hiccup and Toothless. That's a cool thing I like that they kept. It's the big pinnacle of the series. And Toothless is still an adorable, cute dragon. That's one of the fastest dragons in the archipelago. Toothless and Hiccup have been traveling across the world, looking at new places inside the archipelago and developing his map. And he has a cool flight suit, which I've actually kind of like. And him meeting up with his mother and being so bonded over their love for dragons. I loved that type of thing. It was cute and adorable and very lovable for anyone to love. So yes, it was a very nice story. The villain was very cool. Drago Bloodfist was a very intimidating villain. He was a very good villain. He was different from the previous villains that came before him. And it was very nice seeing him as a different villain. And shockingly, we found out Gobber's type of not even gonna explain it, that he is, and that Stoic sadly dies. Like I said, spoilers. Stoic sadly dies in this film, and one thing I liked about this film when he died is that it showed that Hiccup is now having to jump up to the leader of Chief. His father is now gone. Burke is now defenseless without their dragons. Their dragons have been taken from them, and now Burke needs Hiccup and his friends and his mom. I don't even know why that sounds weird. Sounds weird, but yeah, it was very nice seeing that Hiccup was struggling, that he had to be chief of Burke. Because from How to Train Your Dragon 1 all the way up to How to Train Your Dragon 2, it showed that one day Hiccup was going to obviously be chief. His father is Stoic the Vast, who was the chief before him, and obviously Hiccup was going to fill that role. So it was cool seeing how Valka, Astrid, and Stoic and anyone else told him that he could be a leader in his own right. And I really liked how they do one thing where they make Astrid talk to Hiccup throughout the three films. Throughout the three films, the last film, it's Astrid talking to him about why he didn't kill Toothless. This one, it's about that he can be his own leader, but not from his heart. Not from out there, not from out there, searching out the archipelago, marking out places on this map, crossing out the X on that, putting the X on the map. It's about finding what is him in his heart. Finding the leader he is in his heart. And like Valka said, he has the heart of a chief and the soul of a dragon. So it was very nice seeing Hiccup stand up to the chieftain role he was meant to be. And his chief, getting mocked with the chief seal and everyone cheering on him still gives me goosebumps even though I watch it now. But overall, the reason that gets put is that the film was really dark. Overall, it was just very dark. But it's still a good sequel nonetheless. I've come to love it more now. But it comes down here at number 3. So without further ado, let's move into number 2, How to Train Your Dragon 3. The conclusion to the entire franchise. We've been seeing Hiccup and Toothless go through thick and through their adventures from 15 years old to 21 years old. This film picks up where Hiccup, Astrid, Snotler, Roughnut, Toughnut, and Valka from behind the shadows rescue dragons from there. They've been rescuing dragons for years and popping them back on their island with a bunch of big dragons turned into big fat Viking utopia. With that, this film deals with a lot of cool plots. It deals with the fact that there's too many dragons on Burke. Their island's too noticeable. Hunters and warlords are after them. Dragons are getting freed. Grimmel the Grizzly wants to hunt them down. Toothless is separated from them. Hiccup needs to figure out what he needs to do for his people. And everyone else is... God was basically forcing Hiccup and Astrid to get married. So there was a lot of things that was going on in this film I liked about it. And personally, since I'm a bit of a Hickster fan, I really like the marriage part. But we'll get to that later. But what I really liked is that it showed that Toothless... Since the Light Fury wasn't so kind to humans, Toothless had to distance himself from Hiccup. He had to push Hiccup away so that Toothless could go after the Light Fury, leaving Hiccup to try and deal with these issues by himself. And once freeing him, Hiccup started spiraling out of control. It soon led that he needed to try and find a way to fix this and try and get Toothless back. Obviously, the Light Fury was... the Light Fury and Night Fury were getting Toothless and the Light Fury were getting lovey-dovey, so Hiccup was starting to have a hard issue. His people were asking him what he's going to do about this whole dragon thing. He's trying to find the hidden world, and he's trying to not let Grimmel the Grizzly capture his dragon. And I like this film overall. It's a good ending to the franchise. It gives solemn goodness to the franchise. It gives a nice... brings back, say, the franchise full circle and brings back some classic characters like Stoic. And people thought, for some reason, he'd be a damn ghost. Stoic was not going to be a ghost. Obviously, Stoic, if he was going to come back, it was going to be in flashback. Stoic was obviously going to be in a flashback, which I was totally right about. Me and some others were totally right about. Stoic came back in flashbacks. Now, it was nice seeing Stoic in flashbacks and seeing how once upon a time, before the events of the first film, he once didn't want there to be war between dragons. Before him, it was his wife, Valka, who believed that dragons and Vikings didn't have to fight. But after that, Stoic soon tried to believe in Valka's wish and tried to fulfill it so that Hiccup could have a better life. But Stoic soon gave up on those ideals when he realized that it was hard for him and he couldn't start. He started getting irritated with Hiccup, so he stopped showing himself in public. He became different. He led his tribe, and he dropped it and decided to keep fighting with the dragons until his son, his descendant, or whatever son took up the mantle of trying to bring peace between the dragons and finally did. Now, a cool thing I still like about is that Grimmel gets inside Hiccup's head. He gets inside Hiccup and Toothless's head. He plants the Light Fury, and it makes Toothless start to want to love. He's in love with the dragon. But Light Fury doesn't like humans. Hiccup is a human, obviously. So Toothless, deciding to do that, wants to separate himself from him to try and go out to be with the Light Fury. But the table's disabled, so Hiccup gives him a tail. And of that, he accidentally sets Toothless free. Toothless soon gets too distracted and gets caught up in his love dove stuff that Hiccup tries to fight Grimmel the Grizzly, but he can't because without Toothless, he's not that strong. And Hiccup starts spiraling out of control until Valka tells Aster to go steer him in the right direction. Hiccup soon goes find him, realizes that it's a bad idea, that he doesn't go back, and leaves Toothless to be there. Toothless, they get nearly attacked. Toothless saves them, lucky enough, but disappointment makes Toothless get into a bit sad mood. So Hiccup decides to let Toothless go. Grimmel captures them. Hiccup gets spiraling out of control, and they end up on the cliff ledge where it was last time. And in this film, unlike the last two films, mostly the same thing. Like in the first film, when Astrid talked to Hiccup about why he didn't shoot Toothless down, Hiccup doesn't answer at first, but then soon Astrid soon convinces Hiccup to give him a real answer, and Astrid soon gives him an idea to save Burke, but it's a crazy idea. Obviously, if you guys have seen the film, you know how it goes. Second film, earlier in the film, Hiccup and Astrid sit on the ledge, cuddling together, and Hiccup is having a bit of a rough time knowing who he is, and Astrid tells him that it's not out there. Like I said before with How to Train Your Dragon 2, it's not out there, it was in his heart. And with this film, Astrid's telling him that he can be a leader, and how much of a knucklehead and all that he is, and how he shaped her into the woman she is now, and how that he can do all this. Toothless made it easier. He's always been the leader. That stuff, and it reminisced full circle when he said probably something stupid. It was very nice about that, and obviously Valka was a bit of a one nudging Astrid to go talk to Hiccup. It was very nice, and seeing that Hiccup could finally lead his people and finally learn that he can lead without Toothless. The cool thing with this plot is it shows he can be a leader without Toothless. The first film shows that Hiccup is an unlikely hero who soon becomes a leader after taming a Night Fury. The second film shows him trying to find his way into his own as a leader. And the third film shows him, can he lead his tribe without Toothless? Can he lead his tribe without Toothless? So, very nice. The final battle was very visualizing. Toothless coming back. Hiccup and Toothless finally been able to defeat Grimmel the Grizzly. But at a cost that Hiccup knew that, sadly, they could no longer stay together. That the dragons and humans had to split apart. So it led to the dragons going away. And obviously, I was going to save this for last. Hiccup and Astrid's wedding was a very beautiful thing. And I liked how they tied the knot and how the directors finished off that relationship. And, Fishleg, the Rough Nut and Snotlout and Fishlegs fighting over Rough Nut. Fishlegs won that little squabble of love. But yeah, so How to Train Your Dragon 3 was a good conclusion to the franchise, but it has memorable scenes, it has great visuals, but it comes in at number 2, so everyone knows about this. At number 1 is How to Train Your Dragon 1. So this introduction into the franchise showed us about Hiccup, an unlikely hero that has been thrusted into a new world when he tames a Night Fury. And when he shoots it down, he goes to find it and kill it to prove to his village that he can be a Viking like them. Until he decides not to kill it and spares his life. Later on, when he fails at Dragon Academy, he soon goes to try and train it, and when he realizes he uses those training skills in the arena. And obviously, everyone else is mesmerized except for Astrid, who starts getting like a big jealous person, or jelly as I like saying it. But anywho, basically, it's cool. I like the bond between Hiccup and Toothless. It's a really amazing visuals. The flight scene's amazing. The action is great. The fire feels realistic yet animation. The animation feels weird. It feels weird. It feels funny. The characters have cool chemistry with each other. The animation and voicing is nice and spot on. They fit the characters they are voicing. And Jay Baruchel voices a 15-year-old kid who is very accurate to the 15-year-old name. America Ferrera voices a 15-year-old Viking lady who's not like any other regular 15-year-old girl. And Christopher Mintz-Plasse voices a 14 to 15-year-old kid who's shy and awkward and very scared kid. Jonah Hill plays the 15-year-old bully kid who's described as like the bully, the bigger jock. And obviously you have Kristen Wiig, Craig Ferguson, Gerard Butler, and TJ Miller. So this ensemble cast is unique, and the teenagers are unique. They make them feel like us. Teenagers are like us. This is a very relatable film. All three films have been relatability. With teenagers, it's halfly about relatability. It's what makes everyone connect with the characters. Obviously, in any film, relatability is what connects us to the character. And there was a lot of relatability about how father and son is an odd relationship, or how that you're 15 and that you're the most scrawniest and most embarrassing Viking in that place. You're 15, that you have teenage issues, and that you're scrawny and skinny, and that you're bullied by people. That's a relatable thing, and that you like people, and that you have crush on girls, and that you're not the best of fighter or anything, not the best at some subject. That's a relatable type of thing people have in their everyday life. And I like some scenes. The music's comes in times and on time, times off on the right time. They're very good timers. It times in the right times. Overall, the film's really good, and I obviously was going to save this for last like the other videos. Hiccup and Astra's relationship blossoms in this one, and I really like it. The platonic friendship was very nice, but overall, the three films are the greatest. 2 is good, but I still put it number 3 because it's very dark. 3 is lighthearted and a good collusion, but number 1 takes the cake. So that is my ranking of all 3 How to Train Your Dragons. Now that I'm pushing it to 17 minutes, we're going to wrap up the video. So that's all 3 How to Train Your Dragon films ranked from worst to best. So if you guys want to see any other franchise focused on, you want me to rank any other movies, review them, tell me in the comments below, and I'll try and answer them as I can. And if you guys want me to do any stop motion, toy reviews, or anything like that, comment in the comments below. If you want me to do gaming, I cannot, but yeah. And hopefully, I can collaborate with somebody, I don't know, but yeah, like one of my friends, hopefully, but make sure you guys like, subscribe, and click the notification bell, depending on what one you're on, and see you laters, and hopefully enjoyed the video. Make sure to like, subscribe, see you later, bye.